the cold CEO who rejected everyone, until he met a young nurse and fell for her. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's return to our main character. The fluorescent lights of Westbridge Private Hospital hum softly, the kind of steady, sterile buzz that fills the air long before dawn. It's 5:42 a.m., the hour when the world outside is still half asleep, but inside the ICU wing, every sound feels louder, monitors beeping, carts rolling, nurses whispering. And somewhere in that quiet storm stands a young nurse named Anna Reeves, tightening the straps of her scrubs with hands that still tremble just a little on mornings like this. She takes a slow breath, feeling the familiar pinch of exhaustion behind her eyes, but she brushes it away. This is her routine. This is her calling. She checks the patient board as she always does, expecting the same names she's memorized over months of early shifts, until one new name freezes her right in place: Ethan Hale. The Ethan Hale. The CEO whose face has been on magazine covers, financial news segments, and industry panels for years. A man known for being brilliant, ruthless, emotionally shut off, completely untouchable. A man who, according to the quiet gossip swirling down the hallway, hasn't let a single person get close to him since losing someone he never talks about. Anna swallows, reading the note written in neat handwriting beside his name: severe exhaustion. Dehydration. Stress-related collapse. Private suite. Strict monitoring. She blinks. CEOs do not collapse. Not the way regular people do. Not the way people without bodyguards, assistants, and airtight schedules do. And definitely not the way Ethan Hale does, because for a man who built an empire by shutting the world out, showing weakness isn't just rare, it's impossible. Or so she thought. She tightens her grip on the clipboard as the charge nurse approaches. Anna, you're assigned to Hale today, the woman says, eyes sharp. Just a warning, he doesn't like people. He's refused 3 nurses already. Anna's eyebrows lift. Refused? But he's unconscious. The charge nurse shrugs. Even half-conscious, he's still him. He wakes up, says something cold, and goes right back under. Don't take it personally. He doesn't want anyone near him. Anna feels something unfamiliar tug in her chest, curiosity, mixed with a strange, quiet empathy she can't quite explain. Because people who push the world away usually aren't cruel. They're hurting. She knows that better than anyone. Room 407 is dim when she steps inside, lit only by the soft blue glow of machines tracing the rhythm of a life too controlled for too long. And there he is, Ethan Hale, lying impossibly still, his usually sharp features softened by sleep, dark circles bruised beneath his eyes, his breathing uneven like he's fighting something even unconscious. Anna moves quietly, adjusting the fall line, checking his vitals, careful not to disturb the fragile calm of the room. But then, he stirs. Just barely. A faint groan escapes him, deep and hoarse. His brows crease, like a man having a nightmare he refuses to admit is trapped in. Anna steps closer. Mr. Hale? Can you hear me? His lips part, a whisper scraping out, one word, broken and vulnerable, so soft she almost misses it. No, not no to her. No to something inside him. Something he's been running from. And as Anna watches his hand twitch weakly against the sheet, she wonders, not for the first time, what kind of pain builds walls that high, and what it must feel like when they finally start to crack. Because she doesn't know it yet, but this morning, the one that starts with a collapsing CEO and a young nurse who refuses to give up, is the morning everything begins to change. For him. For her. And for the story that neither of them ever saw coming. Morning settles over Westbridge Private Hospital like a thin veil of gold, brushing across the windows of room 407 where Ethan Hale lies in that uneasy space between waking and drifting. Anna Reeves steps inside quietly, mindful of the way every sound seems to echo in this private suite. She carries a fresh set of vital sheets tucked under her arm, her fingers still cold from the short walk down the hallway. The air feels different today, heavier somehow, as if the building itself knows that something shifted the moment Ethan whispered that single broken word. She moves closer to his bedside. His breathing is steadier now, though his jaw remains tight, like a man clinging to control even in unconsciousness. She takes his pulse, counts each beat carefully, then checks his temperature. Everything is improving but still fragile. As she notes the numbers, the slightest rustle makes her freeze. Ethan's fingers move again, brushing the sheet, almost searching. Her heartbeat picks up. "Mr. Hale," she says softly, leaning just close enough for him to hear if he is hovering near consciousness. "It is Anna. I am just checking your vitals." His eyelids flicker. Not fully waking, not yet, but something in him recognizes her voice, the steadiness of it, the grounding warmth that cuts through the sterile quiet of the room. A faint groan escapes him, low and strained. Anna watches the struggle ripple across his face, the tension of a man used to fighting battles alone. It is strange seeing someone so powerful look anything but invincible. She adjusts his pillow gently, careful not to disturb the four. Just as she pulls her hand back, his fingers twitch again and, for a brief moment, almost curl toward her direction. A small breath catches in her throat. She has seen patients respond to familiar voices before, but something about this feels different. Intentional. Emotional. Human. Before she can think more, the door opens. Dr. Harris walks in with his tablet, his expression sharp with the usual mix of exhaustion and authority. "Morning, Anna," he says. "How is our very stubborn patient?" Anna glances at Ethan before responding. "Improving. Less restless than last night. More responsiveness." Dr. Harris steps to the bedside, scanning the numbers on the monitor. He pushed himself past the limit again. Several days without rest, barely eating, meetings back to back, running a company like it is a war zone. When the body collapses, it collapses hard. He scrolls through the tablet, sighs, then looks at Anna. He is still not out of the woods. Keep talking to him. Sometimes familiar voices help the nervous system regulate. Anna nods. When the door closes again, she turns back to Ethan, studying the small lines of exhaustion etched along his forehead. She wonders what kind of loneliness drives a man to that level of self-destruction. She wonders who he lost, and why that loss has turned him into someone ice-cold and unreachable. She wets a cloth with warm water from the basin and gently wipes along his hairline, then down the side of his jaw. His skin is warm, but the tension in his muscles has not eased. "You know," she whispers, her voice barely above a breath, "you do not have to fight so hard. Not right now. You can rest. Everything is under control." For a moment, she thinks he cannot possibly hear her. But then his breathing slows, just slightly, settling into a calmer rhythm that makes her chest soften. And in that fragile quiet, she sees it clearly, the first crack in the armor of the coldest CEO in the city. She does not know it yet, but this tiny shift, this quiet response to the sound of her voice, is the beginning of something neither of them is ready to name. Not healing. Not hope. Not yet. But the very first spark of connection, the kind that changes everything the moment someone finally lets themselves feel it. The afternoon light dims into a muted amber as it filters through the blinds of room 407, painting soft lines across Ethan Hale's still form while Anna Reeves returns with a fresh round of medications. The hospital has shifted into that strange in-between hour, the lull before evening rounds, when even the machines seem to hum a little quieter. Anna steps inside, instinctively softening her footsteps, and for a moment she simply watches him. There is something different about him now, something she cannot quite put into words, as if the air around him holds an unspoken question waiting to be answered. She checks his chart, double-checks the dosage, and begins preparing the medication with the same steady hands that have carried her through countless shifts. But her thoughts keep drifting back to the way his breathing slowed when she spoke to him earlier, how he had seemed to lean into the safety of her voice without even waking. She moves closer to adjust the blanket when Ethan shifts again, his brow tightening, his breathing turning ragged as if caught in some silent struggle. "Mr. Hale," she whispers, leaning close enough for him to hear the warmth in her tone, "you are safe. I am right here." His lips part, and a faint sound escapes him, almost a word but lost before it forms. Anna's chest tightens. She places her hand near his, not touching, just close enough that he might sense someone steady beside him. His fingers twitch, brushing the sheet, then drifting toward her hand in a motion so small it could have been imagined. But she knows it is real. She has seen enough patience to know the difference between reflex and reaching. Before she can say more, the door swings open. Dr. Harris steps inside again, this time with a more concerned look. "Anna, can you stay a few minutes longer during observation?" His stress levels are fluctuating more than expected. She nods without hesitation. "Of course." The doctor studies Ethan with a frown. His collapse was not just exhaustion, he says quietly. There were signs of acute emotional strain, the kind that builds up over months or years. Whatever he has been carrying, it is heavy. Anna glances back at the man on the bed, wondering what kind of life drives someone into the ground like this. When Dr. Harris leaves, the room settles into calm again. Anna begins her usual routine, wiping the sweat from Ethan's temples with a warm cloth, adjusting his oxygen line, smoothing the wrinkles from his blanket. Small acts, steady acts, the kind that build trust even when one person cannot speak. As she works, she talks to him in a quiet, soothing rhythm. "I know you do not want anyone close to you," she murmurs, dipping the cloth back into warm water. "But you are not alone in this room. You do not have to push so hard. Not today." A soft exhale shakes from his chest, almost like a response, and she pauses, feeling something stir inside her that she quickly pushes away. She cannot get attached. She tells herself that, even as her voice softens naturally around him. She moves to check the monitor, watching the heart rate stabilize a little more with each minute she stays. It is small, but she notices every improvement. Her presence is helping him. She knows it. And then, as she turns back to him, she sees something that steals her breath. Ethan's eyelashes flutter, his brows pulling together, and suddenly his eyes open just a fraction, unfocused but undeniably awake. Anna freezes, her heart leaping. "Mr. Hale? Can you hear me?" His gaze drifts, blurred and disoriented, but then, slowly, painfully, it finds her. His lips part, the faintest tremble running through them, and a single whispered syllable escapes like a breath he has been holding for too long. "Stay." Anna's chest tightens, her pulse stumbling in surprise. He slips back under almost immediately, the effort too much, but the word lingers in the air between them, raw and vulnerable. "Stay." For a man who has rejected everyone, pushed the world away, and built walls no one could breach, that one word means everything. And as Anna stands there, the quiet monitor beeping in steady rhythm beside her, she realizes this moment is no longer just part of her shift. It is the beginning of something deeper, something he has never allowed himself to need, and something she is not sure she is ready to feel. But the truth is undeniable. Ethan Hale has finally reached for someone. And he reached for her. Evening settles over Westbridge Private Hospital with a hush that feels almost sacred, drawing long shadows across the polished floors as Anna Reeves steps back into room 407. The soft glow of the bedside monitor paints a calm rhythm across Ethan Hale's still figure, each steady beep echoing like a quiet promise that he is fighting his way back little by little. Anna pauses at the doorway, the memory of his whispered plea from earlier still echoing in her mind. "Stay." A word so fragile and vulnerable that it had shaken something deep inside her, something she is still trying to understand. She moves closer now, adjusting her badge, reminding herself that she is here to work, that her feelings must stay safely tucked away behind professionalism. But the truth is, she cannot unhear that single cracked syllable. She cannot pretend it meant nothing. Ethan shifts slightly as she approaches, his brow creasing as if sensing her presence even in sleep. She sets her supplies down and begins checking his vitals. His pulse has steadied, his color is better, and the lines of tension around his mouth have softened just a little. Good, she whispers, almost to herself. You are giving yourself a chance. As she adjusts his blanket, his fingers brush the back of her hand, so gently she nearly doubts it happened. Her breath catches. It could have been accidental. It could have been reflex. But deep down she knows it is not. She pulls a chair close and sits beside him, keeping her voice soft, steady, warm. You gave me quite a scare earlier, she says quietly. But I am glad you woke up, even if it was for just a moment. It means you are fighting your way back. His breathing shifts, almost responding. She hesitates, then continues, letting honesty slip into her words. I do not know what happened in your life that made you shut everyone out, but whatever it was. You do not have to do that in here. You are safe, Ethan. Saying his name feels strangely natural now, as if it belongs in the quiet space between them. Suddenly, his eyelids flutter again, and this time they open just enough to show a faint glimmer of awareness. His gaze is blurry, unfocused, but searching. Anna, the sound is rough, scraped from a throat that has not spoken in far too long, but hearing her name in his voice sends a jolt through her chest. She leans in, steady and calm, though her heart races. I am here, she says. Can you stay awake for me? His eyes flicker toward her, struggling to focus. Where am I? She places a gentle hand near his shoulder, guiding him back to calm. You are in Westbridge Private Hospital. You collapsed from exhaustion and dehydration. You are safe now. He blinks slowly, his breathing uneven, his voice breaking into a strained whisper. I did not want anyone here. Anna's expression softens. I know. They told me you refused the others. He swallows hard, his jaw tightening as if bracing for something painful. But you stayed. The rawness in his tone makes her throat tighten. She steadies her voice. Yes. I stayed. And I will keep staying as long as you need me to. Something in his eyes shifts, something small but undeniable, like the first hint of light slipping through a crack in a closed window. He tries to speak again, but the effort pulls him back under, his eyelids slipping shut as exhaustion washes over him. But even as he drifts, his fingers find the edge of her sleeve, curling weakly around the fabric as if anchoring himself to her presence. Anna stays still, letting him hold on, her voice steady in the dim, quiet room. Rest, Ethan. You are not alone tonight. And as the soft hum of machines fills the air, she realizes that something has changed forever. He reached for her again. Not by accident. Not by reflex. By choice. And choices like that are the beginning of healing, no matter how cold a heart has been. Morning returns to Westbridge Private Hospital with a soft haze stretching across the windows of room 407, casting gentle gold over the man who had finally spoken Anna Reeves's name the night before. She steps inside quietly, her heart beating a little faster than usual as she sees Ethan Hale resting more peacefully than she has ever seen him. His breathing is even, his color stronger, as if the simple act of letting someone in had pulled him one step closer to the world again. She checks the monitor, adjusts the oxygen line, and updates the chart, but her attention keeps drifting to the memory of his fingers curling around her sleeve, to the shaky whisper of her name leaving his lips like it carried every piece of strength he had left. When she moves to check the drip, Ethan stirs again. His eyelids lift slowly, revealing a gaze clearer than the night before, still tired but undeniably aware. Anna brings herself closer, keeping her voice steady and warm. Good morning, Ethan. How are you feeling? He tries to speak, pauses, then wets his lips, struggling for strength. Weak, he rasps, but you are here. The simple truth in his voice makes her chest tighten. I am, she replies softly. And I will continue being here. His eyes drift over the room, taking in the monitors, the quiet hum, the evidence of days he has lost to exhaustion. Confusion flickers across his face. How long was I out? Almost 2 days, she answers gently. His jaw clenches, the weight of that hitting him hard. I cannot afford that. I have meetings, board members, deadlines. She interrupts him with a calm but firm tone she knows he needs. Ethan, you collapsed. Your body shut down. Nothing is more important than your health right now. He closes his eyes briefly, his breath unsteady. I have not collapsed in my life. I do not. His voice trails off, and Anna realizes he is not just fighting physical weakness, he is fighting the unfamiliar sensation of vulnerability. She sits beside him, not touching him but close enough that he can feel her presence grounding him. Everyone breaks when they carry too much alone, she says softly. Even people like you. His eyes meet hers again. And for the first time she sees something unguarded behind them, something cracked open by fatigue and honesty. I did not want anyone to see me like this, he whispers. But you stayed. Because you needed someone, she replies, her voice low but unwavering. And because you did not have to face this alone. He swallows hard, the emotion almost too raw to name. I do not know how to let people help, he admits, each word scraping out like a confession he has never given anyone before. Anna nods, understanding more than he realizes. You do not need to know how. You just need to let yourself rest. One step at a time. He watches her, the tension in his shoulders easing little by little, as if something inside him finally believes he can let go, even just for a moment. She helps him sip a little water, supports him lightly as he settles back, then changes the cool cloth on his forehead. He watches every small action like he is memorizing it, like he cannot quite understand why it comforts him so much. When she finishes, he speaks again, barely audible but completely sincere. Anna, thank you. She feels warmth rise in her chest, unexpected and deep. You are welcome, Ethan. You are safe here. His eyelids grow heavier, but before sleep takes him, his fingers reach for hers again, not trembling this time but deliberate, seeking connection. She lets him hold her hand, her thumb brushing lightly against his knuckles. And as he drifts back into a calm sleep, she realizes this moment is no longer just about care or duty. Something inside Ethan Hale is waking up, something fragile but real. And something inside her is answering, whether she is ready for it or not. The afternoon sun dips lower behind the west wing of Westbridge Private Hospital, turning the windows of room 407 into warm mirrors of fading light as Anna Reeves steps inside once more. Ethan Hale is awake this time, propped slightly higher on the pillows, his breathing steadier, his color stronger, and his eyes holding a clarity she has not yet seen in him. It is not full strength, not even close, but it is something new, the beginning of a man slowly returning to himself. Anna approaches with her usual calm presence, holding a fresh set of vital sheets and a small cup of ice water. Ethan looks at her, and for a moment he simply watches her the way a weary traveler watches the first sign of home after being lost for too long. You look more awake today, she says gently. How are you feeling? He lets out a breath that sounds half like a laugh and half like surrender. Still tired, he admits, but not drowning anymore. She nods, understanding the weight beneath his words. That is progress. Your body is trying to heal. You pushed it past its limit for too long. He looks away, the lines on his forehead deepening. I have been pushing everything past the limit, he says quietly. My company, my staff, myself. I do not even remember the last time I slept more than 4 hours. Anna studies him for a moment, seeing not the powerful CEO but a man who has been carrying a life far too heavy for one person. You do not need to be everything for everyone, she says softly. Sometimes you have to let someone take care of you too. His gaze returns to her, sharper now, searching. And you are the one taking care of me, he says, not as a question but as an undeniable truth. Yes, she answers, steady and warm. I am. Ethan exhales, the tension in his shoulders easing for the first time since she entered the room. She checks his pulse, his temperature, his oxygen levels, all while speaking to him in that calm rhythm that has become his anchor in the storm. When she moves to straighten his blanket, he surprises her by speaking again. Anna, why did you stay? You could have asked to switch shifts. You could have refused my assignment after they told you I pushed the others away. Her movements pause, but her voice remains gentle. You were not pushing me away, she says. You were hurting. And sometimes people who hurt the most are the ones who need someone to stay the longest. His eyes flicker with something she has not seen before, not gratitude, not relief, but a kind of quiet awe, as if no one has ever said something like that to him. Anna sits beside him, giving him space but not distance. You do not have to explain everything now, she tells him. Healing is slow. And talking can wait until your body catches up. But Ethan shakes his head slightly. No. I should tell you something. His voice lowers, tremors threading through the words. I did not collapse from work alone. I lost someone. Someone I never learned how to live without. And instead of dealing with it, I buried myself in responsibilities. I built walls so no one could get close enough to hurt me again. Anna's breath softens, her heart tightening with compassion. I am sorry, Ethan, she says quietly. Loss like that changes everything. He looks at her, pain flickering behind his eyes but softened by the honesty between them. You are the first person I have spoken to about it, he confesses. The first person I have let this close since it happened. Anna does not speak right away, she lets silence sit gently between them, not heavy or demanding, but comforting, like a hand resting softly on a wound that is finally allowed to breathe. Thank you for trusting me, she finally whispers. I will not break that trust. His breathing steadies, and in a gesture that is no longer hesitant or accidental, he lifts his hand toward hers. Anna lets her fingers intertwine with his, warm and careful. And in that fragile, quiet moment, something shifts forever. Ethan Hale is not just waking up physically, but emotionally, and the first person he is choosing to meet in that new world is her. Night settles over Westbridge Private Hospital in a blanket of quiet blue as the hallway outside room for 07 grows still, the shift change humming faintly in the distance. Inside the room, the soft glow of the monitor reflects across Ethan Hale's face, now more alert than fragile, though exhaustion still clings to him like a shadow that has not fully released its grip. Anna Reeves steps in with the same steady calm she always carries, but tonight, something in the air feels different, heavier, charged with a tension neither of them has spoken aloud yet. Ethan looks up the moment she enters, his eyes tracing her face with a familiarity that has grown almost instinctive. You came back, he says quietly, his voice stronger than before but still carrying the rough edge of recovery. I told you I would, she replies, setting down her supplies before checking his vitals. You are still improving, but you need rest, not stress. He lets out a slow breath, something troubled flickering behind his eyes. That is what I am trying to talk to you about. Anna pauses, sensing the shift. What is wrong? Ethan glances toward the closed door before lowering his voice. While you were gone, my phone powered on for a moment. A few messages came through. Anna keeps her tone calm. Is something urgent happening at the company? Not exactly, he says, jaw tightening. Someone knows I am here. Someone who should not. A cold ripple slides down her spine. What kind of someone? Ethan leans back against the pillows, eyes darkening with concern rather than weakness. There have been tensions at the board for months. Pressure, whispers, attempts to push decisions past me. If certain people knew how weak I am right now, they would use it. Anna feels a protective instinct rise in her chest, unexpected but fierce. You are safe here, she says firmly. This room is secure. No one gets in without clearance. I know, he replies, but they can still try to find leverage. And if they think you matter to me, he stops, realizing too late what he has admitted. Anna's breath catches softly. Ethan, she says slowly, I am your nurse. That is all anyone should see. But that is not all you are, he says, voice low and unmistakably sincere. You are the only person who has seen me at my worst and not walked away. That makes you a target for people who would rather see me broken. Anna steadies herself, her heart pounding. Then we stay careful. We stay quiet. And you focus on getting better. Ethan shakes his head, frustration tightening his features. Healing is not the only battle I have to fight. There is something else. Something I noticed earlier today. He hesitates, as if weighing whether to burden her with what he is about to say. There were inconsistencies in the report I glimpsed on my phone. Numbers that do not add up. Approvals I did not sign. Someone has been moving money without my authorization. Anna feels the air shift, the quiet room suddenly holding the weight of something larger than illness. Embezzlement, she whispers. Or worse, Ethan answers. Someone wanted me out of the way. My collapse might have been the opportunity they needed. A chill spreads through her chest. Ethan, are you saying you think someone tried to push you past the limit on purpose? His gaze meets hers, steady and dark with realization. I think someone wanted me too weak to fight back. And if they discover that you are the one helping me regain my strength, they might come after you as well. Anna sits down slowly, processing the danger she never imagined when she first stepped into this room. She looks at him, at the fear he is barely letting show, and something inside her hardens with quiet determination. Then listen to me, she says softly but firmly. I am not leaving you. Not now. Not while you are in danger. Not while someone is trying to break you. Ethan's eyes soften, gratitude and worry tangled together. Anna, you are not alone in this, she whispers. You trusted me. I am not going anywhere. And for the first time since he collapsed, Ethan Hale does not try to be strong. He just lets her words hold him, the battle ahead no longer something he has to face in the dark, and the connection between them no longer something either of them can pretend away. Icy silence settles over room 407 the next morning as Anna Reeves steps inside with a clipboard held a little tighter than usual, her mind still echoing with Ethan Hale's warning from the night before. The danger is no longer theoretical, someone has been moving money, someone has been manipulating the system around him, someone has been waiting for the exact moment he was too weak to fight back. And yet when she sees him sitting slightly upright, the morning light brushing against his tired face, the first thing she feels is not fear but resolve. Ethan looks up immediately, as if he has been listening for her footsteps. Anna, he says quietly, relieved. I was not sure you would come back after what I told you. She sets the clipboard down beside his bed, her voice steady. Ethan, I told you I am not leaving. I meant it. His shoulders relax, the slightest exhale slipping out. I should not drag you into this, he murmurs. This is bigger than exhaustion. Bigger than my collapse. Someone inside my company wants control, and if they think you are important to me, then we stay smart, she interrupts, her tone firm but gentle. We stay careful. And we get you stronger. So you can face whatever is coming. He studies her for a long moment, something unspoken passing between them, something fragile but unmistakably real. Anna moves closer, checking his pulse and the monitor readings, when Ethan suddenly reaches for her wrist, not pulling, but grounding himself in her presence. There is more, he says, voice low. I keep replaying the hours before I collapsed. I remember feeling strange. Dizzy. Not normal exhaustion. Anna freezes just slightly, her eyes narrowing. Do you think someone tampered with your supplements? Your food? Your medication? He swallows hard. It would not be the first time someone tried to push me off the path. My success has made enemies. And if anyone found out how close I am with the investment division, they would want me out before the quarterly vote. Anna takes a slow breath, forcing her voice to stay steady. Ethan, you are saying someone may have tried to accelerate your burnout on purpose. Or make sure I broke before I got too close to uncovering the numbers, he says grimly. And if they know I am still alive, still capable of fighting back, he does not finish the sentence. He does not have to. She sits beside him, the weight of the truth settling between them like a storm waiting to break. Ethan, she says softly, you will not face this alone. Whatever happened to you was cruel, and whoever did it must be held accountable. But you need your strength back before you take any action. He nods slowly, his fingers brushing hers again in a gesture that is no longer accidental, no longer hesitant. I trust you, he says quietly. More than I should. She shakes her head gently. You trust me exactly as much as you need to. And that is enough. For the first time since she entered the room, something like relief softens his eyes. She helps him drink some water, checks his chart again, and adjusts his blanket. When her hand lingers a little longer than necessary, neither of them moves away. A knock at the door breaks the moment. Anna quickly steps back into professional mode as Dr. Harris enters, scanning Ethan's vitals. Good progress, the doctor says. With rest, he should regain enough strength to begin physical therapy tomorrow. Ethan tenses at the thought, but Anna places a reassuring hand on the edge of his bed, where he can see it. One step at a time, she murmurs. You have already come farther than you realize. When Dr. Harris leaves, the room grows quiet again, the tension easing into something softer. Ethan studies her, his voice low, rough, sincere. Anna, once I am stable enough, I need your help with something. I need to know the truth about what happened to me. She meets his gaze without hesitation. Then we will find it, she promises. Together. And in that moment, the cold CEO who had once rejected everyone finally allows himself to rely on someone not because he is weak but because for the first time in a long time, he believes he is not fighting alone. The next 48 hours move like a quiet storm through Westbridge Private Hospital, carrying with them the weight of truth, recovery, and the kind of resolve that only forms when two people decide to face the world together. Ethan Hale grows stronger with every passing hour, his voice steadies, his posture strengthens, and the hollow exhaustion that once darkened his eyes lifts enough for the man he used to be to peek through. But now there is something different about him, something gentler, something awake. And much of that is because of the woman sitting beside him now, adjusting the cuff on his wrist as she checks his blood pressure for what might be the last time in this room. Anna Reeves glances at the monitor, then back at him. Everything is stabilizing, she says with a soft smile. You will be cleared for discharge today. Ethan watches her, his gaze lingering longer than necessary, filled with gratitude, affection, and something deeper he has not spoken aloud. I could not have done this without you, he says quietly. You did more than keep me alive. You helped me come back to myself. She blushes slightly, looking down at the chart. I just did my job, Ethan. No, he replies, his voice low but firm. You did far more than that. Before she can respond, Dr. Harris enters with a stack of paperwork, congratulating Ethan on his progress and explaining the follow-up plan. Ethan listens politely, but his eyes keep drifting to Anna, as if anchoring himself to her presence even now. When the doctor leaves, the room grows still again, the silence warm rather than heavy. Anna begins gathering her supplies, preparing for the next part of her shift, when Ethan speaks again. Anna, there is something you should know. I completed the internal audit last night. I had my team cross-check every suspicious number. Someone on the board did attempt to manipulate the system while I was weak. Her heart tightens. Did you find out who? Yes. He nods, the certainty in his expression a mix of disappointment and relief. My chief financial officer. He was redirecting funds and pushing for signatures he hoped I would not notice. My collapse gave him the opening he wanted. What happens now? She asks, bracing for the answer. I reported everything, he says. The authorities are handling the investigation. He will face charges. My company is safe. Anna exhales, feeling the tension unwind from her shoulders. I am glad you figured it out before things got worse. He nods, then looks at her with an expression she has never seen before. I also realized something else, he says. Healing is not just physical. Sometimes it is choosing to let someone in. She freezes, her breath catching. Ethan, let me finish, he murmurs gently. You saved my life, Anna. Not just my body. My mind. My heart. And I cannot walk out of this hospital pretending none of this happened. She steps closer, drawn by the quiet truth in his voice. "What are you saying?" Ethan lifts her hand carefully, his thumb brushing her knuckles in a touch so deliberate and tender it sends warmth flowing through her entire chest. "I am saying that when I leave this room, I do not want to leave you behind." Her eyes soften, emotion rising like a tide she can no longer hold back. "Ethan, you are still healing." "Then let me heal with you," he whispers. "Let me choose something real for the first time in years." Anna feels her heart open in a way she has been afraid to allow, but now, looking at the man who has fought his way back from the brink, she knows this moment is the truth they have both been moving toward. "I am not going anywhere," she says softly. "Not now. Not after everything." A faint smile touches his lips, the first true one she has ever seen from him. "Good," he breathes. "Then come with me." Hours later, as he walks out of Westbridge Private Hospital. With Anna by his side, the setting sun washes the city in warm gold, and Ethan feels something he has not felt in years, a future that does not hurt to imagine. And for the first time, the cold CEO who rejected everyone finally understands something simple and profound. Healing is not a miracle. It is a person. And for him, that person is Anna.